This video will contain spooky, scary images, but no actual jump scares without proper warning. Early internet culture was rife with jump scares. Work emails with supposedly real ghost footage and seemingly innocent flash games were simply a disguise with the sole intent of scaring the piss out of unsuspecting victims. There are plenty of examples of this right here on YouTube, mostly of oldies and concerningly young children, but the absolute worst, most heart-stopping jump scare isn't where you would expect. This single frame of a Chevy Malibu may be enough to spike your anxiety, as it's from one of the most widely circulated jump scares, or screamers as they were often referred to. Ghost car, spooky car, or scary car commercial was actually part of a larger series of German coffee advertisements. All 9 videos of which, from the Wide Awake campaign, ended in a similar jump scare featuring the zombie or the gargoyle. Seeing this same video in high definition really takes out a lot of the punch. The compression that made it more accessible via email and slow internet connections also crushed and smeared the visuals. This helped conceal the imperfections of an otherwise very obvious rubber mask, and heavily contributed to my own personal fear of the dark for many years. On the topic of screamer images in their original state, What's Wrong With This Picture uses an entire 2 frames to traumatize its viewers. This inviting interior stays on screen for an entire 25 seconds, and then swaps to the jump scare image for a few moments, and then swaps back, really giving your brain time to associate this room with the fear response. Modern technology allows us to see this image in its original form, and to be honest, I'm not really sure which is scarier. Another common screamer image was Regan from The Exorcist, appearing in both Ghost Caught on Tape and Scary Maze Game. There's actually a few different versions of Scary Maze Game, some with different maps, some with different images, one of which being a screen grab from the 2002 remake of The Ring. Another one appears to be the original Scary Maze Game, but with the Eyeless image from earlier. With all that said, these pale in comparison to the jump scare that this video is actually about. But first, we need to talk about Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo III's first foray from cartoon to live action was met with financial success, poo-pooing from critics, and it raised a few questions. Questions like, dude, do you think Scooby and Shaggy smoke weed? And I wish that was me. And wait, what? Monsters are real now? If there was one trope that was extremely well established in the lore of the Scoobyverse, it's that ghouls, ghosts, and goblins do not exist, they aren't real, and it's always a guy in a mask. Who wrote this shit? Oh, fuck, it was James Gunn. The very same James Gunn that's widely known for portraying Dr. Flem Hawking in the Toxic Avenger 4.
My erectile dysfunction has been resolved.
Anyway, all that to the side, they went on to make an ill-fated sequel, which was decidedly more child-friendly.
Who's your mommy?
There was also a tie-in point-and-click puzzle game that was made available on the movie's promotional website. It's fairly unremarkable, except for one thing. In this part of the exhibit, in this Egyptian-themed room, there is a sarcophagus. The sarcophagus can only be opened with a crowbar. You do not need to open it to progress, but you can. When you look inside, tiny words begin to appear at the bottom, etched directly into the stone. Please, haven't much time. Someone coming. Need help before. Given not only the extremity of it, but also the context, this is the worst jump scare I have ever seen. Now, Scooby-Doo definitely has its roots in horror, but aside from the Blair Witch Project parody that they did, I think there's an understanding that it's primarily aimed at a very young audience. Now, I ask you, what sick fuck decided that this innocent little flash game for soft-skulled infants needed this? I can't find this image anywhere else, which is even more insane because it means that it was probably specifically made for this project. While looking up some of the finer details for this video, I found another instance of a flash game like this with an equivalent jump scare, and it actually predates this one. The screamer in Garfield's Scary Scavenger Hunt 2 is nowhere near as much of an adrenaline dump or as fucked up as Scooby-Doo's is, but what the fuck, man? There is an entire sea of jump scare and screamer images that I didn't mention here, but I am curious, what ruthlessly cheap bullshit video or game managed to startle you? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll see you next time on another episode of Freaky Eyes Guy and Loud Noise Machine Adventures 2.